Okay. Today's Hip Hop 101 in the eyes of Lonnie Dangerous. So today, last time we did work on your hooks, because hooks, that's how you catch your audience, you know what I mean? And you're even in the club, and you have like a nice hook, even if you don't like it after a while, you just start doing it, you know what I mean? No, Hot in Here, I really did. But there was one Nelly song that I don't know if I really liked it. But then when I heard the hook in the club, when I was in the club, I was like, okay, I see what he's doing here. I see what he's doing. So hooks are very important. So today, I want to talk about the art form because, it rarely gets talked about anymore. Like it really, and really, that's the whole point that, it's like something that's not talked about, it's not addressed, it's there but it's not there, you know what I mean? So I wanted to start off by saying that because I got a whole lesson on my own about the art form too since I've been here. Like I joined this hip-hop choir, and they were teaching me about all the elements of hip-hop, and that like I knew about the first three. Like coming up in the beginning, I think I'm probably the third generation of hip-hop, and coming up in there, we danced, we break danced. I had my uncle, and even me when I was little, I tried to do graffiti. That's another element of a graffiti. Like everyone's practicing their names, and then another element is DJing, and that came automatically because at that time, like when we overtime hustling. But at that time, there was no way to. First of all, they wasn't not trying to hear hip hop on the radio. Nowhere I went. Maybe in Philly, yeah, you'll get a no. I'll be honest, because I know that my uncle and well, maybe they had like hours that they played it, but I know my uncle and them would be coming back with tapes, and like I'll be like, oh, let me get that one. Let me listen. So you couldn't get it everywhere, and it was constantly like just like how it is now, like just constantly new artists come up. That's how it was back then, but there's no place to get it out, so we share them. As the DJ would be the guy who would give you one tape with like 10 or 15 of them on there, and he would cipher through all the garbage and give you the top ones. And that's the problem why I have with the art form right now, that there's a lot of guys that are calling themselves DJs and they're breaking records, and then what they're doing is they're playing their friends' records, or they're getting paid to play this record. And I have like a problem with that, because it's no longer like an element of it. We've merchandised everything. But okay, so the DJ, he was the element, because even before that, before him giving out the tapes, learning in the history, the DJ is the first one who started the party. That was where hip hop started. Hip hop started in the park, late night after dark. That was who you think played the records. It was the DJ. So that was essential. Those are the three ones that are essential to it. Breakdancing, graffiti, and DJing. But then along comes the rapper, you know what I mean, who gets on the mic. Like, because before, when I was a kid, I wasn't really a fan of the rappers. They weren't really in the forefront. They weren't. You know what I mean? I don't care what no one says. They weren't on the forefront. It was the DJs. And I had my favorite DJs. Like, Grandmaster Flash was my man. Like, every time I hear a DJ, Grandmaster Flash. Larry Love. Look up Larry Love. Larry Love. And it was Larry Love. And then, of course, I thought Jazzy Jeff was one of the illest DJs ever, because he had the transform scratch. So that's that. But then they needed someone to hype up the party, you know what I mean, to get him in there. The MC comes in. That's like another element. So these are elements of the art form. And then there's slang. They gave me all these other ones. There's slang, there's fashion, because you can't have it without fashion, you know what I mean? This culture that we are creating of hip-hop, the elements that it consists of. Well, as you hear all these, most of them are art, period. The fashion is art. walking art, but it's art. DJ, you might not think it is, but the graffiti is art. It's street art, but it's art. The DJ is art. He's art to art. You know, when he's doing on the records, he's taking something else and he's made it something else, which is now art. So now when you come to the rapper, like I had some New York rappers on the podcast the other day, and I felt good because it brought me back to this times where when Philly, like on the block, everyone, if you spit, you have to have bars, because when people come up, you need to have your bars ready, and you just lay them down. We lay them down on the regular every now and then. We get blowed anyway, just to show how fresh our crew is with the rapper. And I was that rapper of my crew, even in Alaska. I'm the rapper. That's what I do. So it's an art form in the street sense of rapping, one, but then now you're adding sound, you know what I mean? You're putting it into these earplugs and you're creating a song. Now that is an art form, you know what I mean? How your voice fluctuates through even as me working with all these musicians, and me working as a musician, as a rapper, my vocals and my lyrics are an instrument. My brain is part of that instrument, you know what I mean? Like, that's one thing that no one can fuck with me on this mic because of all the things I put all together. Like how Kobe is like trying to complete his whole thing, like your voice, the lyrics need to have quality, the music should be bumping, you know what I mean? There's like a whole, you can't just come with just bars. You have to like, and even your sound, does it match who you are? You know what I mean? And what kind of sound are you into? You know what I mean? You're taking like your regional, but I always try to say like, I always wanted to keep my music like Michael Jackson, Prince, or Madonna, because I want to like, I want to be in a vibe, but I don't want to be the vibe, you know what I mean? I want to be able to do every genre of music and create my own, you know what I mean? Like Michael Jackson songs are Michael Jackson songs. You try to put it in R&B, but it's not really R&B. It's like Michael Jackson. Prince is R&B, but he's not R&B. He's like Prince, you know what I mean? His music speaks for itself, and that's what I always try to strive for. Like, I hope that I could do, as being a versatile artist altogether, I hope that I would put in my music that translates into my music where it's versatile. I can go in one style, a different style, and still like, let's see what he does with this, like Biggie did. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. You know what song I mean. That's okay. Today's my story, and it's tell about the family in which your mother grew up. Do you know what her childhood was like? And do you remember any stories she told you about it? Okay, so tell you about the tell you the family that my mother grew up in. My mother, I think, was one of 4 children. And I think that the communication is not a big thing in my family. But I'm pretty sure that it was my Aunt Andrea and then my Uncle Vay. My Aunt Andrea had one dad, and then my Uncle Vay and my mom have a different dad. And I mean the same dad. And then my Uncle Alfred, he has my my grandpa Steve as his dad. So one of 4, and she doesn't really know her father. I told you that before. She doesn't know him. She doesn't really. That's why I was like kind of puzzled, like, how you not know him when he had your brother too? But I know that they lived in the projects. I know that all since I was growing up. See, where I'm from, like everybody knows everybody, and not only does everybody know everybody, but there's sides, you know what I mean? There's sides of the city. Like, if you know it, you know it. And my mom's from the Bennett Homes projects, and I know that because she would always tell me as a kid. And yeah. So and I don't know. I think the William Penn projects is the projects, but the Bennett Homes, like, the Bennett Homes, you know what I mean? Bennett Homes. Like, even when I came up, Bennett Homes was like, you know what I mean? Like, some of like little Vietnam, they always have like these weird names, Chirac, whatever, you know what I mean? I'm from at Lamoken Village, the LV projects. But yeah, so and then she told me that that they were Jehovah's Witnesses for a while, and that one time they had a birthday party for my mom, and it got out that they were having a birthday party, and that's frowned upon in the Jehovah's Witness community. And I think she told me that they had came to the house and they confronted her about it, and then they were kicked out of the church, and they were also shunned. I know that my mother, okay, so my mom is like maybe actually 17 or 19 years older than me. So my mom really, what she would always stress upon me is that when she was young, my grandmother, since she's deaf in one ear and hard to hear in the other ear, that she would have like a lot of men friends, and not like but she would hang out with a lot of guys, and those guys, and they would party, and when they party, get drunk, and then sometimes they would beat her up and take her money, or somehow way to get her money, because, you know, there's these hood dudes, and then there's like a handicapped lady, you know what I mean, try to show her that you love her. And I think that she always told me that they were constantly moving around. So and that yeah, there was sometimes that they would get, some of the guys that she would date would get drunk, and then they would beat her up and take her money. And then she told me that one night, this is a good one. One night my Uncle Vay took, my grandma's working. My Uncle Vay was at home. I guess he stole the car and he took it as a kid. Maybe he was, I don't know, 17, 18. He took the car and he went to go party. And they said that my grandmother got a call at work saying that come now, Vay is in the hospital, he's been in an accident. And he said that the car he must have backed the car into a pole, and then the pole slammed down on the car. So when they got there, he was in a coma. But when she went in there, they said that Vay was dressed in women's clothes, and the police officers are giving her this stuff. And even when you have to remember that when they were telling me this, it was probably when I was a kid. And in those times they were telling me like, ooh, he was in women's clothes. So so I guess he was in a coma for maybe like a month. And when he came out, he was paralyzed on one side of his body. So yeah, so that was like affecting the whole family. And at the time, you know, that was his coming out party. You know what I mean? Like, at that time, first of all, he's in the ghetto. Number two, he's a black male, and he's not saying that I'm gay. They catch him in women's clothes. And I don't think he really, like, at that time, I don't think anybody even wanted to know what it was about. Because I was telling someone one time, and they was like, so, and I can't even now, like, I don't know, like, was he trans? They didn't even try to understand. It wasn't even important. Like, you're tripping. So, I'll talk about that Vay later, but that was my man. And then she always told me that she was bad. You know what I mean? She was bad as hell. She was just out there wilding. She would always say she had a foul mouth, and people would always tell her to watch her mouth. She'd stop, be ladylike, and she'd tell them, go fuck yourself. And also, she told me that like when she be out there acting up, people would yell out windows like, why don't you go do that where you live at? Why don't you go? You know what I mean? It always stuck in my mind because I remember when I got older and I was in the projects, and when I was there, my grandma lives like a block away from Lamoken Village. You know, she lives in Martin Luther King. So I didn't live in Lamoken Village. Like, I just hung out with the dudes that lived in Lamoken Village at LV. And then they like, yo, you one of us or you got, you one of us, dog. So I'm LV, and I was saying that to, like, when I was out there, I was wilding too. I was bad. I don't think I was trying to be like my mom, but I was my natural who I am. And I remember one time someone said that, like, yo, why don't you do that where you live at? And I was like, I was so proud. I remember, like, man, I made it, dog. We made it. We made it. We made it. So that's just like this part of that made me think about it. And I remember that she said that my grandpa.
Mustang music, 5. Mustang music, I'm in my 5.0. Mustang music, 5. Mustang music, I'm in my 5.0. I'm the main event while the wheels spin. Only smoking tires, okay, I'm vaping. Got a 480, sweeter than my lady. It's like we getting it on. I'm Marvin, baby. Matt murdered out. Black on black on black. Got it going off the lot, straight cash like that. Known as most wanted, most want that. Me and Slap make hits, that's facts. Pay attention, I'll tell you what to do. Call all the homies cause I'm coming through. Daddy don't play games unless it's 2K. Spot 100 yards and leave you on the freeway. Hard top, drop top, 5.0, we flying. Baby loving it cause we ride. This is West Side. It is what it is, all man style. It's as good as it gets. Mustang music, 5. Mustang music, I'm in my 5.0. Mustang music, 5. Mustang music, I'm in my 5.0. Picture me rolling in the 5.0. Didn't come for friends, just tell me when to go. Know the boys is watching, so I'm cautious. Know the game's being played, but I'm flossing. Not trying to be another statistic. Stay way below, so I'm never tripping. Most wanted, hit see me doing about 100. Just me, a Shelby 500 GT, we stunting. I'm out here living my life, slide in, drift wide, watch the brake lights. I'm loving it, the crowd, engine rumbling. Baby, no, nobody's tougher than what it do. Let's head to the beat. The homies all down, parade in the streets with mad cheeks. I'm the host with the most, chasing that bag in this 5.0. Mustang music, 5. Mustang music, I'm in my 5.0. Mustang music, 5. Mustang music, I'm in my 5.0. Mustang music, 5. Mustang music, I'm in my 5 points. Mustang music, 5 points. Yeah, let's start it off. We grew up as wolves with no guidance.
Slap master on the beat, boy.
Slap! That's what happens when the wolves led us stray. Get 'em. Try to live a dream, and they say you out of touch. How you niggas judging me when you out of luck? When I was broke, it was like I was out of love. When I was alone, y'all didn't give a fuck about a thug. I looked around for all the wolves that I ran with. Few stay true, what dudes will do your man quick. Some will even slide on your enemy clan dick, but I cut him the fuck off, let that man live. I got Jay mentally ill, still going back to jail. Mama kicked me out as a kid, I wondered if I was meant to fail. Born in the killing, trying not to be numb to it. Used to find peace in the violence until I succumbed to it. Constantly in survival mode, trying to know, he's dying to know. Now he a homicide doe, making plans to catch Slap for something to tighten up my flow. Out in Texas, then back to the Bay. I ride it like a ghost, I'm making power moves, bringing it in, now I'm news. Only talking greasy cause they coward dudes, and being dead broke got up sour too. Wolves cut it straight, but I built out for built right. Had to go to war, general, grew into some real sight. Daddy said you got 2 fights, if you lose, he'll take your little life. Quick with the fist fight, got real tight. I'm in motion, been coasting. If you see me, holler what it do. Started with mad niggas, but real ones become a few. Drop money on fam, never heard a thank you. It's cool, I got you, I learned a lot about you. Kicked out as a kid, the abuse was hard to live. I prayed for the big payback, and I did that. So I'm so PTSD and aggressive when I react. They moved out without me, detached. Moving around, still a runaway, state to state. Came in deep with soldiers, a pack of wolves led astray. Heard all the greasy shit you said, it's all in the game. Could've came to me like a man and said you're dead lame. I showed you nothing but love, you scrub. Telling anyone to listen, the fishes shut the fuck up. So I don't give the pound no more, it's just what up. Cause the closest ones to you be the easiest one to get you done up. Get you done up. You was my main man, that nigga me. Went to war together, street family. I love my dog, but he turned on me. I wish you the best, but you gotta slide, homie. You was my main man, that nigga me. Went to war together, street family. I love my dog, but he turned on me. I wish you the best, but I gotta slide, homie. Sometimes you gotta grow. Can't be the same dude you was last year. If you still doing the same shit you did last year, you're a year behind. Don't be a hot dog. Catch up.
What's up? I want to do this one, Hip Hop 101, because some things are like driving me crazy. And one thing at first I was like, I'm not going to say anything because I'm not where I want to be, so I don't have no right to say anything till you get to where you want to be. And then when you get to where you want to be, like, hey, dog, you do it the way you do it and then make it like that. But I also that I believe that if you have information that you should share with others so they can like avoid all the trappings and stuff like that. So I'm gonna start doing Hip Hop 101, the ideas and philosophies on the art form as a rapper and hip hop in general from the eyes of Lonnie Dangerous. So stay tuned for these. And this is the first one because I've had like issues and I haven't had issues, but I've heard things that just made me like this, and I don't want to you can't really like say stuff to people because they get butthurt. So I'm just gonna drop it, then people could just would take it with forever what you take it. But the first one today is Hip Hop 101. I was gonna start here, but let's go back. Let's go back. Hip Hop 101, the first one, we're going to just talk about the art form as a rapper. The art form, when you pick up, I think as a rapper, if you're in the game and you're a rapper, okay, so I consider it just like any other craft that anyone has, like the butcher or the mechanic or anything. This is what you do. This is the art form that you chose. Even in basketball or painting, this is the art form that you chose. Well, in this art form, I believe that if you're going to do something, you should learn all about it. You know what I mean? You're not going to go build a house without getting all the information on houses. And I had like a conversation the other day on the podcast, and one of the guys was saying that he wished that people wouldn't put hip hop in different categories. It's all hip hop. It's just hip hop. And I wanted to say something, but it's not my place. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say it here. And I feel that the reason why there's categories in hip hop, first of all, there are categories. He's like, there's not categories, but there are categories in hip hop. And me being a fan of hip hop, as a child, I listened to all types of hip hop from all different genres and all that. And I learned all the styles, you know what I mean? Plus be moving around all these different places. Those regions have their own music right there, and they celebrate all of it, but they really love where they're from. So that's why I always say there's no such thing as whack hip hop. The only thing that makes hip hop whack is when it's inauthentic. As soon as you stop being who you are, that's when it becomes whack. But if you're just doing who you are, someone's gonna like it. Plus it's your voice, so it's an expression. But on that same note, so you should look just like Kobe Bryant. I always try to think of hip hop as my what I do, I was an athlete before, so I take the mentality of an athlete and I apply it to the work that I do now. And I always apply some of the ideas that Kobe's one of the guys that I loved, so I like to use things that he said. And one was Kobe was a NBA historian. If you ask him, he knows all. First of all, he was assessed as a kid, so Kobe knows the history of the NBA. So if you asked him about any player, he could tell you. And he said the thing that he really liked the most was he would, as a kid, he would go out and he would copy players that you probably weren't even the star of the team, but just some no-name guy that had just something ill that was just so ill. So then he would go out in his court and practice that. And so I think that if you're an artist, you should go dig deep in the history of the art form that you're doing, period. Like, what is it about? Where did it come from? What are the ideas? What is this? Because that helps you create. Also, it gives you an idea of what this is. You're participating in something that's even beyond you, so now you know where you stand in it. But first, because it's very, very important, I hear all these dudes saying that they're gonna get they're doing like 28 videos a week and they're about to drop them all, and they keep dropping them. And then like you hear all these songs. Look, you're a rapper. I heard this from Russell Simmons too. Now that you're a rapper, if you want being a SoundCloud rapper and doing it for your friends, that's totally different. I don't have anything to do with that. I'm talking about people that really want to get into the game and really want to play this, about making money, trying to market your music. And if you're a rapper, your job is to write songs. So that's what you should be doing all the time. You should be writing songs. And while you're writing songs, you should be working on hooks, choruses, because those are the money shot of all songs. You know what I mean? So whatever, like I hear all these rappers would just be rapping. Like, okay, you're dope, but like you're a servant now. I know that on the screen it looks like oh, you're Big Willie, but the person's Big Willie because of how they are in their craft, and then that comes out in the music. It's not like, oh, I'm just a Big Willie person. We're all trying to make music that the masses like. So we're really working for this. You know what I mean? It's not like if you wanted to do it for yourself, you would just be in your house. This is something that you actually go out of your way to get customers. So your whole job is to create product that the people, you want to get into my iPhone or my Android and have me bumping that shit on the low or on the high, whatever. So you have all these dudes like doing all these, oh, listen to my lyrics. Lyrics are good, but what the hook and the chorus is what catches people. And we're selling songs now. We're trying to get people to stream songs. I mean, we're trying to monetize this product that we're creating. So it's no longer like, oh, I'm just gonna do this. I seen like a couple guys that were like, just plus your attitude, you know what I mean, and how you. We'll just stick on this one today. This one is about you writing hooks and writing. That's your job, and you are a servant. You know, when you become Big Willie, when the money starts coming in for you to live off the music that you wrote, then you're like Big Willie because you have a mass appeal. But until then, you're just like a regular dude. So you need to work on the craft, work on your writing, and work on developing it as an artist. Like, what kind of artist are you when you write these songs? Yeah, they're dope. You said all this stuff, but how does that apply to what we see in the image that you're giving to us? Because that's the product also, the image, the sound, the whole brand, you know what I mean? So you need to put this all together. You need to work on this before you start, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna drop an album. You could drop an album, if you don't have followers, what's the point of it? I got guys that are doing what's up? What it do? It's your boy. Today, it's my story, and the question is, when and where was your mother born? Where did she grow up? And what was her maiden name? And when and where my mother was born in Chester, Pennsylvania, where I was born. And I think it was 17 to 19 years before me. I think she was 17 or 19, one of those two. I can't remember. And where did she grow up? She grew up in Chester. I was saying that a lot of people leave where I'm from, you know what I mean? If you leave, it's a rarity. And yeah, like everybody knows everybody, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's a city. And you have in your neighborhood, everybody knows everybody, you know what I mean? Like Miss Swain was my used to watch me as a kid, and then Brandon is my friend, like everybody. And that's all just over by my grandma or my paternal grandparents. They had a house, but then they also they also had another house, like they owned like one, not the one next to them, but the one next to that. So there was a house in between my house and my grandma's house. So my grandparents gave it to my father. And I don't think that Nick is really. I think that my father was deeply abused, and I totally got off, deeply abused. So and my uncles too. So I think that they just wanted to get away from there. But so that's why I was saying that it's really we all left, but all the people there, they kind of stayed there. And what was her maiden name? Her maiden name was Harvin. And it's funny because Harvin is not, I think she just took that name. That's not even her name. I don't even know her name. I mean, Harvin is the name of the man that my grandmother married later. I don't even know if they were married or not. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure at all. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say my aunt is my mom's older sister, and she has a different last name. I think that everyone in the family had a different last name. I don't know. My uncle, that's who I think it was. My aunt, and then my Uncle Vay, my aunt, then my mom, and then my Uncle Alfred. My mom and my Uncle Alfred. My Uncle Alfred is Steve Harvin's son. So I think that he came when my mom was a kid, maybe like a little bit older. My mom said he was the only guy that she knew, you know what I mean? All the other guys were coming and going, but Steve would come and he would help out. So they considered him a father. So she took that name. Yeah, he's my grandfather, but he's not my grandfather. You know what I mean? You know it. If you heard, you know what I'm saying, you know. He was my grandfather because that was the last man that my grandmother was with, that was married, and he had a kid with my grandmother. But so he is, no, because he's not the father of my mother. He's the father of my uncle. And but my mom really liked him, and I liked him too. He was a real cool dude. He always took care of me. He was cool with me. He had like a lot of people from my neighborhood fall victim to substance abuse, and he had a drinking problem. But it wasn't, you know what's weird, like where I'm from, when I was a kid, they just drank. It wasn't in the party. It was like, you have a problem, you know what I mean? You have a problem. No one said that you have a problem. But I knew that he liked to drink. But my father also liked to drink. So, and hard liquor. And my mom would tell me stories about how him and my grandma would argue, and he'd beat her up, or he'd take her check and go get drunk. He'd take his check and go get drunk. They must have had like some type of gambling and shit going on back then. But I was saying that because when I went back to Chester in my senior year of high school, and I had to stay there, I was cutting class, and I was running the streets, and nobody knew. And I had cut school one day, and I was up early and I was walking. I think I went to walk to go get something. I was coming back from the walk, coming back to my aunt's house, and I ran into him, and I hadn't seen him since I was like 5 or 6 years old. You know what I mean? So like, and you know what's funny that first when I was a kid, he used to take me all over the city. My mom would just give him to me, and me and him, he really liked to walk. And I learned how to just like walk. He would walk the streets. He would walk anywhere. We would walk everywhere. So me and him was tight when I was a kid. So when I seen him, it was crazy because I seen him coming out of the liquor store, and he had a bottle of bag, and it was like 11 in the morning. And I was like, yo, hey. And I recognized him. And it was fascinating that he recognized me. He was like, oh, man. Yeah, he was going over to his lady's house with the bottle. He took me over there with him. We sat for a little bit. He had a couple of drinks. He was asking me about my mom and the family and how's everybody doing and shit. And yeah, it was weird because when I came, he wasn't with my grandmother. You know what I mean? He would come by and stop by, but he wasn't really like that, because I also feel that my uncle felt that he was absent. So like, he was a sometime dude. He wasn't like always around. But when I was a kid, he was kind of more around. But then more later on, he just started fading away. And yeah, so I got to sit down and chat it up with him. And that was crazy because like, that's so crazy about my city that I say that like no one leaves, because like I ran into him 20 years later, like, what's up? He was like just doing what he usually do, you know what I mean? So that's her name. Her main name is Harvin, which was my name also until. Just like you can also see how everyone's like, you can see who isn't taking it seriously. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you had it? How many times have you had it? Oh, how does it feel? You know what I mean? Like, oh, remember when everyone was complaining about, oh man, I was so tired for that whole day on the second shot. But there's people at home for 3 weeks with the virus. No, I would rather have the 3 weeks. I don't want to be sheeple. People are out here talking about, I would love to just be able to taste and smell things again. Like, goofy. And now that we're like in year 2, like, I think that we should even just stop with it. You know what I mean? Like, all this, it's a new revelation. You know what I mean? More importantly, we should start naming the new strains after the people who were that had the biggest views, that were anti-vaccine, and the ones who were saying it was a hoax. I have some friends that say it was all a hoax that caught it. Like, how did you catch a hoax? And like, this is man-made. Like, first it was a hoax, now it's man-made. Just move the goalpost every time.
I'm from the West Coast, fresh coast, from LA to Sacramento. It's still West Side, it's the best side, the best side. I'm from the West Coast, fresh coast, from LA to Sacramento. It's still West Side, it's the best side, the best side. I was young, black, and lost, dancing to show off all the time with the homies, ride or die with these, and that's all. It's all love, ball till we fall. Had the dookie rope and Cuban links, baby outlaw. My enemies want these paws or shot calls, notoriously big, praying for my downfall. I'm from my mama, don't worry about where I'm from. It's where the best are homeless and the future dies young. Left the wolf pack, but I'm still a dog to all my sons. One to spare for the world and 1,000,000,000 ones. Drop one in Alaska, 5-star mixtape, and album. Went from chasing skirts to walking down and fucking all of them. Lost scandalous, sliding through traffic to the kick drum. Nastiness, call me a movie star, shit got me
I'm from
dumb.
the West Coast, fresh coast, from LA to Sacramento. It's still West Side, West Side. It's the best side, the best side. I'm from the West Coast, fresh coast, from LA to Sacramento. It's still West Side, West Side. It's the best side, the best side.
Still in the hood, been all over the globe. Truly blessed, loving it, it's all I know. Gold Dayton's on the Camaro, 455 on the flow, smashing on the freeway. Life on the West Coast, all power like a ghost. Adidas on the flow, Tokyo drifting corners, gas, brake, drift, it's slow. Tried to slay, kicked out, had to drop out of school, so fucked off, intoxicated, street life, train to go. Now I'm about my dough, rockstar, indie CEO. Same whip, but take flights, use Lyft when it's time to roll. Or baby dog, come scoop me, head on the road. Take her shopping, watch her try on, fuck her and all her clothes.
I'm from the West Coast, fresh coast, from LA to Sacramento. It's still West Side, West Side. It's the best side, the best side. I'm from the West Coast, fresh coast, from LA to Sacramento. It's still West Side, West Side. It's the best side, the best side.
Also, I want to talk about this real quick because it was crazy in my thoughts that I don't know if I have had it or I haven't been so sick that I've had symptoms of COVID yet. But everybody that, like, the dude that I work with, like, everybody around me is, like, catching it, like, man, are you serious? Like, and, I don't know, like, it's so weird that it's so weird that everyone's okay to get that, but we don't want to get the vaccine, like, okay, we don't know what COVID is, but you know what I mean? Okay, but someone's saying that this could help you with that. So but you're like, I know you're trying to kill me with this, so I'll just take this. You know what I mean? Like, so that we're like, have the whole world, everyone's like, has to take 5 or 6, 7, 8 days off. I feel like I'm like the last of the Mohicans, you know what I mean? At first I was like, maybe I'm ODing about being safe, you know what I mean? Because you look around, everyone's just like nonchalant, everyone's partying, people holding each other. It's like so insane to me right now. Like, and then also you even notice like people are starting to get closer to talk, like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, dog? What are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? It just seems insane. Like, you know, it just seems like insane.
Man, we still gonna do that music video? Come on, man, it could be the new normal. It could be like Billie Jean, mix with Tupac, mix with P. Diddy. Get the Harlem Shake going, you know? Alright.
Been at it, like MC ran at it, with an attitude like 50 many men at it. Daddy doing it, ruined it again at it. Daddy doing it for the blunt, rolling in the gin at it. I'm not doing that these do to win at it. Still knee deep in the streets, getting it in at it. Still a rookie in the game, you Jeremy Lin at it. Watching party rap, make it clap, make believe at it. I stay lit, remaining calm, focusing to win at it. Slap master energize me, the corners I've been at it. I'm in my bag when I'm vaped out, Corona, breathe at it. It's a hot LA summer, fire and riots are back again at it. Gangsters unifying, black love, brown pride, we in at it. We protecting our communities, these policemen at it. I'm out here risking it all for ends at it. Outshining these artists, even these friends at it. Friends at it. this. Blowing dolo, nobody's lips on this. Blowing dolo, nobody else's lips on this. Maybe before, but they ain't now. They don't wanna see me vape down. They don't wanna see me lady. They don't wanna see me vape down. They don't wanna see me lady. They don't wanna see me vape down. They don't wanna see me lady. They don't wanna see me vape down. They don't wanna see me lady. Blowing dolo, nobody's lips on this. Blowing dolo, nobody else's lips on this. Blowing clouds on them. Maybe before, but they ain't now. Made just a tip and was ignored by award shows. It's all love because everyone with awards knows. Stepping on more toes to legend with hardcore flows. What Pop would do if he made it, Lord knows. The one to go and get it, all door blows. Lonnie Dangerous, Latin mommies call me El Gordo. Let D.I. Shine and Doran came on tour, yo. The West ain't never left, was being ignored though. Had to let the roar go, so fly I could soar float. On DJ Noise been playing me more so. Thor's flow until a sore throat. Y'all don't want.
X is Native American, and it was cool because every time I came home to talk about systematic racism, you know, of the government against my people, she'd always say, I know. Wait, are they still doing that? Want to place a bet?